The Simone Feiler podcast, giving authors a platform. Welcome to the podcast.
He's leapt off cliffs, buildings, and even into world records. And now, after years of bearing it all in print, he stepped into the studio to give his story a voice. My guest today is none other than Chris Dukes McDougall, world champion skydiver, base jumper, wingsuit pilot, motivational speaker, and the fearless mind behind the cult memoir that is Confessions of an Idiot. It was first published in 2015. The book is raw, it is unfiltered and full throttle, much like the man himself. Dukes has narrated the audiobook version right here with Sydney Audiobook Production. It has been a hell of a ride, and very grateful to have Dukes in the hot chair via Zoom today to chat about life behind the leaps, what's changed since he wrote the book, the mindset of pushing limits, the discipline behind the chaos, and what it was really like to sit still for once, narrating his own life. Buckle up, it's going to get intense, and welcome to the Simone Feiler podcast, Dukes.
G'day, how are you?
I'm good. I love my intro. Hey, I'm thinking that just describes you after doing your audiobook to a T, right?
It does. It absolutely does, unfortunately.
And, firstly, thank you so much for choosing to do this with me. You first published Confessions of an Idiot in 2015, like I said. So what was it like stepping back into that headspace to narrate the audiobook a decade later?
It was challenging. I mean, that's why I do anything. I just do everything for the challenge, not for monetary gain or for anything, but, wow, I wonder if I can actually do this. And so for me, it was, just try and challenge myself to get through this. And it was very, very difficult, actually. It was a lot harder than I thought. So my past life has made it hard to speak for long periods of time because I have fractured my throat in 3 places a while back, mucking around, wasted with a mate doing UFC chokes and gave him shit for not being able to do it properly. It turns out he did it really well. And so to try and be able to sing and speak for long periods of time now has been more of a challenge than I thought it would, as well as dragging up a hell of a lot of, giggles to start with, because I'm retarded, with the stuff I've done. But some of the sadness and some of the crazy stuff, it actually brought up a lot of emotion as well as memories. So from a broad range, and that was incredible. It was sad. It was every emotion, basically. Yeah. So overall, I really enjoyed the process, and it's really shown myself how much my life has changed. Not changed, evolved, and how much I've actually grown as a person. Mostly good. They're always a little bit bad, but you don't want to be too good,
Definitely. So what sort of kind of things, or do you think, how has it changed? How has it changed?
Well, I mean, every aspect of my life has changed. First and foremost, the book is written terribly. But
Be nice to your younger self.
At the time, I thought it was great. So that in itself shows my progression as a writer and as a songwriter and things like that. My religious views have definitely evolved for the most part, and that really, I was like, oh my gosh, that's harsh. I was definitely a lot harsher person back then. I still am a little bit in certain aspects, and my value for authority has changed a lot as well. So essentially, like all people, if they get older, they mature a little bit. And I've definitely done that, especially in the last sort of 5 years, and it comes through a lot of loss, a lot of love, and a lot of chaos, and I'm just grateful that I've able to not stand stagnant as a human being. I've been able to push forward on nearly everything. There's a couple of things I've still got to work on looking at this. So, but most of all, I've grown as a human being. So that part made me feel pretty good.
All right. So you're saying that you want to grow. Since looking at your audiobook, you want to grow a bit more. In what way?
Yeah, I just want to grow, just keep growing as a human being, and just keep understanding life as it comes, and get through. I expected to die a certain way at 30, wheelchair 28, dead at 30. That was the goal. So I went completely hard.
The goal.
I know. We just, again, how silly is that to look back on?
Yeah, you're crazy.
That was the goal, it was. As soon as I found skydiving and base jumping, I knew that this is what's going to kill me, but this is what's going to bring me life. And that just hasn't happened 29 years on. And as we spoke about before we got on air, it's like all of a sudden I'm in hospital with a heart attack. for being the fittest I've ever been before. And now I'm like, well, hang on, this is like, I'm proper not invincible now, you know, and I'm healthy, I'm fit. And so life has just got its next set of challenges. And I just want to grow and move through all that stage of the second half of my life and enjoy it as much as I can, still retain the essence of who I am, but just a better version of myself. And I really just push to try and be a little bit better every single day.
Yeah. Let's talk about like your heart attack, because that's what they're saying it was very recently. I've been through a whole thing myself. I had a cancer on my lip that I've recently got cut out and now having radium, but it makes you think, "Oh my God, it can end very quickly." You know what I mean? Like you just said, it could end. I mean, you've done some really out there things after going through Confessions of an Idiot. You know, people have seen you on YouTube and you've base jumped, you've skydived. Is this the closest that you've been to mortality yourself, going through this heart attack thing?
No, not at all. You know, and it's funny, reading through Confessions of an Idiot again, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like if I ever write another book, which I said I would if I became 50, hoping I wouldn't turn 50.
Look out.
But it's looking likely, you know, if I write another book and if I can remember the stuff I've done, it's like then you're going to see proper chaos. You know, and then the last 5 years of a complete transition into the person I am today. But I was very lucky, and I'm very fortunate that I got to. I'm scared of dying. I hope everyone is scared of dying. I'm not scared of death because we are all going to die.
Yeah.
But I got to, the second I started skydiving base jumping, I got to understand my own mortality. And the first death that I watched live really hit that home, and that was way back in 2002. So I'm not. Again, I'm not scared of dying. I never really gave a fuck. Sorry, I'm not scared of death. I never really gave a fuck when I was younger. But it looks like I'm going to get through this mess, which is the skydiving, the base jumping. And now I've made some very big changes into becoming a lot fitter and a lot healthier. Not that I was ever unfit. I was always very fit. But my lifestyle choices.
Yeah, you went as hard as you went hard, right?
yeah, exactly. So, and now I'm, you know, I've been sober from alcohol for 3.5 years. I'm since the heart attack, I am now going to be sober from any sort of recreational stuff besides the odd psychedelic, which is more medicine anyway. And I'm going to be, you know, eating even more healthier than ever before and exercising even more before, but maybe a little bit more balanced. And I'm aware that I'm going to die at some point. You know, it turns out half my family died of heart attack. The other half died of cancer. And a few of them got dementia before that, which would be ideal. So I could just not remember much. But I even my school instructors and stuff, they all call me Doug's Mentor anyway. So my memory's not that good. So, but I'm very aware of my mortality, and that has been the biggest gift that I have received. And I wish everyone, this will sound dark, but I wish everyone could have an experience that makes them mortal. And I wish everyone could watch someone die to make them mortal in a roundabout way. I know it sounds pretty harsh, but for me, that was the key to my life. The other key was watching my mum die over an 8-year battle with cancer.
Yeah,
and she died. She died at 51. You know, and I'm 49, and so I've already been making changes to my life to ensure that if I die at 51 like my mum, I've had the most epic life ever. And you know, I don't work in years anymore. I work in summers. And so in 2 summers time, my mum died. In 20 summers time, my dad dies. All of a sudden, it's like, holy shit, I've only got 20 summers left maximum maybe. And so you just got to get on with living. But you need to, for me now, it's about sustainability of the way of life that I'm accustomed to, but get rid of all the bad parts because they're serving me no purpose anymore. That part of my life is gone. Learn to appreciate not having those super fun bad parts in my life, and just embracing and enjoying the little things. And most importantly, just having a massive amount of gratitude each and every single day. And every day is a gift. It really is. So that's where I'm at now.
Yeah. That's why they call it the present. I was going to say cliched like.
Which is Kung Fu Panda. That's best quote ever.
Yeah, it really is.
And again, this hospital, you know, I finished this half Ironman the other day, 3 weeks ago now, whatever it was. And, you know, had some pain in my chest at 1 kilometer into the run, pushed past that, finished the half marathon. 2 days later, went for a 20K bike ride. Okay, still felt heavy chested. My gut feeling then said to go see a doctor. Went to a doctor. Next minute, I'm in hospital for 7 days. Apparently suffered a heart attack. I have coronary heart disease.
Right.
And I have to have some medication for the rest of my life, which I don't believe. I'm going to work through that with some.
So what did they say brought that on?
That's the thing. It's one of those things. My most likely genetic. My party lifestyle probably wouldn't have helped, but it just shit happens. But in the good note, I just saw the heart surgeon just now before I speak to you, and he's giving me full go ahead after another week's rest.
Good.
He exhausted all the heart stuff. I probably should just check out my lung stuff and my gut biome, which I'll do anyway, and just start another even more healthier approach to the rest of my life.
Yeah. So, Confessions of an Idiot, I mean, it documents some of your stuff that, you're jumping and all sorts, but also your party lifestyle, which was pretty epic and crazy. How did you decide that you're not going to drink anymore, and how was that for you? Was it tricky?
Yeah, to
Could
say the
anyone
least.
be around you?
Yeah, to say the least, and I mean, my party lifestyle in that book is only the tip of the iceberg of how hardcore it got. And none of the bad jokes, all the fun stuff,
Yeah. And I already told you how full throttle the book is, right?
Yeah, so I guess a lot more full throttle than that. But the thing is, when you have no options, you don't necessarily would party. So if I have to work 6 days a week as a carpenter, I'm getting home tired. I'm not going to drink, and I might get wasted on the weekends, or whatever. But I controlled my life to where I can have a basically epic life. I do the work that I love, which is jumping either out of planes or base jumping. And I'm my own boss, and every day is a good day. So the thing is, what do you do at the end of a good day? You have a few beers with your mates. But what happens if every day is a good day? And living in Lauterbrunnen, especially in Switzerland, there's people coming in every day from all around the world, and there's to live out their dreams and party and jump. And then everyone's leaving to go back to their reality. So they're having a party when they come and the party when they leave. But I'm there every day. And so it just became routine to get on the beers, and after 3 big beers, I'm anyone's, let's go. And whatever's there to offer, I'll take it, and shots, and even working in a bar there, I'd be doing 10 beers, 10 shots a night at work, because I'm having the best time at work at a bar, raging with everyone. And the one good thing is when I was working on the oil rigs in Africa and Scotland and stuff, I'd be away for a month. So you're completely sober while you're away working. When you come back for that month, you party like a rock star because you've only got a month to rage, And just to clarify too, I'd never, ever mix jumping or extreme sports with partying. It was always completely separate. Yeah. So that's one thing we never, ever did. But so you go back offshore, you clean up, you sweat it all out. And, and I'm always exercising, so I'm always fit. But then when I finished doing the offshore work and I started base jumping for a living, you literally just start partying every day. And so towards the end, besides the epic hangovers I would get every single day, wake up feeling like shit and not sleeping well and partying to all hours and, raging with everyone, because you're just keeping this high basically, which I've since learned scientifically it's about the flight or fight and the cortisol levels and all this thing. And basically, I'd be every day sort of wingsuiting a meter off the ground, 200 plus Ks an hour, just trying to get cramps out of my legs, and at some point I'm like, well, this is going to kill me one day. I need to stop this. And that's where the real battle began. Once recognizing that there's a problem, that's when it really, really happened. So basically I looked into like AA and all that sort of stuff, or what is it? Yeah. Alcoholism. Yeah. Looked at all that stuff. I'm like, not, let's see if I can do this myself. So I actually just did an intervention, a self-intervention with my best friend Wildman and my wife at the time, Jenny, and just said, hey guys, like this is what's happening and I need to make some changes and I need to stop, because I also love to party by myself. Apparently that's not a good sign, but no. I do everything by myself. If I want to go for a surf, I'm not going to wait for a friend, or if I want to go for a jump, I'm not going to wait for a friend. So if I want to do party goods or drink, I'm not going to wait for a friend. I'm just going to do it. Yeah. And also people need to understand that I was completely high functioning athlete at this point as well, and person, businessman, all the things. I was, nothing was missing, but I was just adding everything. And so that's just when I'm like, right, you have to stop. And I did. I just stopped 2.5 years. I stopped for, and I don't know how G-rated or R-rated this can be, but if I ever write a next book, this will be in it. But basically, to reward myself with being sober for 12 months, I bought essentially a big rock of Charlie, very pure, and just to say, hey, congratulations for being sober. And so I had the best time ever, and for a month, you know. And then next minute, you're like, oh shit, and the looking in the mirror as an alcoholic and being able to say, right, you got a problem, you need to fix this, is one thing, because you're naive up until that point. But when I had to look in the mirror again, knowing that I had now had a bit of not a bad drug problem, but for my eyes was a drug problem, and I'm like, fuck you fucking idiots, you know. And then that battle began, and so that's all stopped now as well, thanks to the heart attack. But that was the battle. And then basically I thought after 2.5 years I could handle it, so I was like, you can handle this, mate. You're good. You've done it, you know? Yeah. So I had a few drinks, and it just slippery sloped really quick. And it was throughout the COVID and my divorce, my separation from my wife, and all that. So then I drank for a bit, and then probably about a year or so, but it just went slippery slope again, you know, again, high functioning. No one knew there's a problem except for me. But obviously it makes you depressed and all that sort of stuff. So then I gave up for exactly 344 days. But in that time, I'd broken my leg super badly in a sledding accident. So I had a double spiral fracture.
Wow.
And I went to go ski again, and I couldn't ski because the metal was in the front of my boot. And I just was so excruciatingly painful. And I'm no stranger to pain, so I don't mind it. I mean, I don't like it, but I can deal with everything, you know. And I couldn't deal with it. So we're up in the mountains, and I just started drinking again, you know. So I drank for 6 weeks. Something crazy happened, which is definitely R-rated, which will be in the next book if I ever do it.
Oh, you better do it now.
Yeah, and that, I mean, it was the most...
We're all waiting with bated breath.
It's the most fucked up thing that's ever happened to me, and so fucked up that I basically said at the end of it all, if this is not a sign, you know, from the universe, nothing is a sign, and you are doomed. And I've never drank since. And it's been 3.5 years now. Best fucking thing ever, as hard as it is sometimes, because all my friends still party. It's the best thing I ever did. So I wish, I don't regret anything, because life is life, but I'm very grateful that I had the first half of my life raging like a rock star, and I'm so glad now I get the opportunity to have the second part of my life sober and to enjoy what life has to offer in that mindset. And because I have lost 2 friends to alcohol. They both had liver failure. I've had heaps of stuff with friends happen that you're like, oh, righto, this is going to be me. A friend of mine become a quadriplegic, woke up, blacked out.
Wow.
Things like that. And I was heading down that path for sure. And so now I'm like, ready to go. The thing is, you get 4 hours in the morning extra because you're not hungover.
Yeah.
And you get 4 hours in the evening extra because you're not partying. So whilst some of the stories are a bit lamer now, that because all the fun happens, you know, all the fun really happens on the second and third day of a party, you know, when you're really going for it. That's when the shit gets weird and fun. And so I miss on that stuff now, but I get to also be like here watching the ocean, going for runs on the beach, and just enjoying what the simple things in life are. So I feel I got the whole spectrum, and I'm extremely grateful for that part of my life. And the hardest part is letting go. And I still, up until this heart attack, I still sort of have one foot in the other part of my life. And now, since that sort of wake up call, I've been able to step out of that. And now I'm just looking forward to clean and healthy living. And I'm going to miss the donuts and the apple turnovers and the Vietnamese Australian bakeries and all that. But I also looking forward to be raging, you know, jumping off cliffs and riding, doing Ironman when I'm 70 and stuff. So yeah.
So he's giving you the green light to do that sort of stuff.
I got to wait another week, he reckons. He said 2, but we'll say 1.
It looks like you're in your van near a mountain, near the ocean there.
Yeah, I got to. My partner will kill me if I do anything in the next week. So I just got to play music. I've got a little gig coming up. I'll just play music, chill out, eat mung beans, talk to whales, and be a part-time hippie for a week.
Yeah. So how do you relax? You know, obviously, have you done much relaxing, or is this just a brand new thing coming up?
No, I do. No, I'm not going to relax. No, I mean, what's your version of relaxing? So when I'm on my bike, riding a bike, you know, at the moment, like that's my relaxing. When I'm jogging, that's my relax. When I'm flying down a cliff or I'm under parachute or skydiving, it's the calmest that I am. Right. Yeah, it's my happy place. So relaxing is subjective in my opinion. I for sure will do some more meditative stuff, some more yoga based stuff. I definitely need to do that. But playing guitar is also
Yeah,
relaxing.
definitely. You can definitely get out of your head doing that.
Yeah, well, I like to write, so I'm always write. Excuse me, I'm always writing songs and stuff like that. And I'm definitely going to move after I finish this season with the base jumping. I'm going to retire from professional jumping as far as my school goes, and I'll pass that torch on to my instructor.
Well, I was going to ask you about that because you sort of started that after you wrote your book, didn't you?
Yeah, that's something that again, so much has happened
So much has happened.
the thing with the book is I never wrote that book to get published. I've got like 6 books, but I never wrote it to get published. I wrote it to challenge myself to be able to write a book. And all it was, when I finished the book and I was done with it, it was just a massive pile of papers. But it was my friend who were at a party one night and we were chatting about something. I said, "Oh yeah, no, I just finished my book." He's like, "What do you mean a book?" So he goes, "Can I read it?" I'm like, "Yeah, if you want. Here's a heap of pages." He's like, "What? It's not even a book." I'm like, "Yes, it is." and he goes, "You need to." He read it anyway over the whatever time period, and he's like, "Holy shit, you need to publish this." And I'm like, "I can't afford it, and I couldn't. I'm broke, But he was cashed up, and he paid for the publishing, and I paid him back, and that's the only reason that book's in existence. Because for me, it was just about ticking stuff off the list, like my music CDs and my videos, and they were never made for public consumption. They were just made for me and a couple of friends, and essentially the book was the same thing. So I think I finished. It came out in 2015 or whatever, but I think I finished it in like 2007 or 2009 or something. So much has happened since then. It's crazy. I mean, a lot of really good stuff, a lot of crazy stuff, and a lot of bad stuff. Since then I probably lost 100 friends.
Yeah,
so there's such a crazy story in there. It's just if I can actually be fucked going through the process of writing again, because I don't know. There's just
according to the doctors and stuff, you do need to sort of chill out a little bit. You might find some time, right?
We'll say, yeah. My personality type is I want to be doing everything all at once.
You can use a dictaphone, Dukes.
I can't. I did try that. Yeah, and it's
No?
I don't get to express myself the way I would if I was writing.
Right, that's interesting.
I did check that out at the very start because no one likes typing for hours.
So it was all handwritten.
No, I typed it all, but no, my writing's bloody terrible anyway. But like a true author will like to type, but I don't think anyone likes typing. But I've already started the draft, and like just topics. And the problem is with all the partying and my lifestyle, I can't remember shit. So I've just got to. If I have a thought bubble, I'll write it down. Now, same with song lyrics and stuff like that. I'll just write it down, then eventually some sort of structure will come, and then we'll see. We'll see. I've got to get to 50 first. Yeah, we'll see.
That's not too far away.
Sadly,
is it next year?
Next year, yeah. So,
you never look back once you hit 50, mate.
No, I never look back. I'm just all go. So, but yeah, relaxing wise, I think just being on this planet is relaxing because, again, my religious. I don't like using the word religion because I think religion's still shit. But
you were saying before that you've changed your beliefs since the book. Can we have a sneak peek in there?
Yeah, well, I'm a spiritual beliefs, I guess. Like religion is stupid still. I still agree with that. Like organized religion, all this bullshit happening right now with the Pope and stuff. It's all just a fucking parade. But the underlying...
It's a movie. We're watching a movie.
Yeah, it's all a joke, So if they were truly caring, they'd sell their shit and the whole world wouldn't be in poverty, So it's all bullshit, that organized religion. But behind that, I think it's really important for people who need something to believe in. I think that's okay. If that makes them a better person and helps the people around them be better, then if you need to believe in that, an actual formal God that has a name that is joined to some religion, and you're not hurting anyone, then that's beautiful, And I have friends that had to sober up and they had to find God through Christianity to be able to be sober. If that's making you better, that's beautiful. What I do believe in, and again, this is when people say, I know this is the real God, or I know this is this, it's all bullshit because no one actually knows, because you'd be the world's richest person and you'd have everything and whatever. But
you wouldn't be here, you'd be over there.
Exactly. And it's all a belief system. So, but through psychedelics and medicine, the psychedelic medicine, and just some other stuff, I've had some experiences that have fucking blown me away. to the point which I will try and write them down, which to the point which has made me quit certain drugs like previously, like nitrous and ketamine and things like that. It's allowed me to basically meet God as a formal entity sort of thing.
Is that like ayahuasca or something
like that? Yeah,
DMT,
5-MeO DMT, and then ayahuasca was my big wake up call as far as needing something to get off my rock bottom. And there's two rock bottoms as well. So there's your rock bottom, which my rock bottom is different to your rock bottom, and there's the actual rock bottom, which is like super gnarly. And I feel for anyone that's their rock bottom. But for me, I needed to make a change, and how do you make that change? So for me, I need a good slap in the face. I can't just have subtle changes. So for me, doing an 12-day ayahuasca ceremony in was a big one. And again, it wasn't about the medicine in the end. It was about everything else around it that just made everything just awesome. And I got the most benefits from talking outside of the ceremonies. People, I know some people had crazy trips when we were there, but like for me, I've done tons of acid and stuff, and I've had way more mega trippy experiences on mushrooms and acid and DMT and stuff than I have with these ceremonies. But what it did was create just an epic environment for me to do a full spiritual, emotional, and physical cleanse. And it was just incredible stuff. And so for me, I just I believe in the universe. I believe in there is a divine entity, which could be the entire universe, and we could be one of many universes. We just don't know, but it still comes just back to just being kind. And I feel one of the big reasons I'm still on this planet is because I will still to this day, every single day, pick up rubbish on the street and put it in the bin and things like that. I've definitely not been the best human in the world over time for many reasons, but I'll always try and keep the environment better than I found it. And we teach that a lot with our school as well, with our base jumping schools. And that's why I feel that I've had so many amazing things happen as well. Because I try, for the most part, as best I can every day, is be kind and leave the environment that you live in better than you found it. And for all we know, our time on earth could actually be heaven. If you're talking heaven and hell. Wow. And our time, this could be the place.
Some people say it's hell. Hey, that's such a unique outlook to say that it's heaven, man.
Yeah, and it's perspective. So I learned this when I watched my girlfriend die. I went out off the rails for 6 months, and and all that's in the book. But my dad said basically, you want to take the low road out of this or the high road? And I was lucky enough that I broke my foot and just got snapped out of that. And ever since then, it's like, well, whatever happens in your life, you can choose to take the low road and just spiral down, or take the high road and spiral up, and whatever that might be. And we're not perfect. Sometimes for sure I've spiraled down. But for the most part, every single thing that happens to me, especially this heart attack lately, because obviously the topic of conversation right now, it's been a gift. Yeah. What a gift I've just received, Other people could take that as, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. This could be the best thing that's ever happened to me. But you just got to run with it. Like there's certain things you can't control in your life, so just let them go. The things you can control, make them epic.
I love that. So positive.
So not saying I haven't had my low points. I've been
No, I saw a couple of them in the book.
It's been a lot worse since then, and I was definitely at the point where at one point there was not really a light at the end of the tunnel, but that's
fairly recently we were having a chat and you were like, I'm feeling really low, and I was thinking, before I went away on holiday, you were saying that, and I was thinking, like I was a little bit worried about you because things had gone a bit pear-shaped for you.
I mean, your heart, it turns out I have before the heart attack, I have a heart, so I was going through some relationship troubles. It was like really interesting because there was stuff that just come unexpectedly. And again, me and my partner live in different continents. So I don't have kids and she does. So it's a very big challenge to navigate that. So it was really shit because I had to leave. I couldn't address the situation and had to go back overseas because I'm a Swiss resident now. So I need to go back for my visa and stuff. So it's not something's my problems are most people's dreams, but they're still my problems. So it was just going to be pear-shaped then. And then I was, through that I was partying a bit hard again, and then so snapped out of all that, and then everything's good. And what I'm learning is to just, I got taught this at the ayahuasca ceremony, to let the negative pass through, let it sit with you and then pass through, but don't mask it with anything. Which is what I did forever. All the death and stuff I was masking with alcohol. It wasn't just the partying in the end. I didn't know that at the time, but you're just escaping. And I feel that, not talking about everyone, but most people are trying to escape from something.
Yeah.
And I'm still doing that essentially, but I'm doing it through exercise. So I have a very simple analogy with things. Is like, let's use cocaine for an example. You either enjoy the high now and suffer later, or you can go for a 10K run and suffer now but get a long-term high later. So it's all about choice. And I've chose one way for a long time with all the partying, the drinking and stuff like that, and now I'm choosing the other way. And what
about your choice in actually, like, base jumping and that sort of stuff? How do you sort of relate that to this, this topic?
That's different again. So that's about,
most people would think, like, whoa, that's like really putting your life on the line, like, excessive drinking or excessive drug taking.
Yeah, but that's normal because, well, excessive relevant to myself. Some people, like Iggy Pop, probably went way harder, but he's still here too, cool. which shows you the chaos theory. But
I saw him at Byron Bay, like he was 70, I think, drinking out of a bottle, still on stage.
Yeah, and Lemmy as well. So the genetics are there too. And but for base jumping, the beautiful thing with base jumping is that you get to control your destiny. 100%, basically. Let's say 99.9%. So
okay, I was going to say, because there were some deaths in your book.
Yes, but they didn't control their destiny well.
Yeah, right.
So it's like, if you're crossing a busy road, right, you have the choice how you want to cross that road. If you want to get to the other side of that road, you're going to have to cross that road. Now, how you cross it, you're 100% in control of your destiny. How you cross it is up to you. Okay. And people just think that's nothing, but base jumping is exactly the same. So if you look and spend 5 minutes, an hour to wait for a clear spot to cross that road, and you cross it safely, and you continue to do that every time you cross the road, odds are 99.9% of the time you're going to be able to cross that road. And base jumping is exactly the same. So you can choose to jump safely, or you can choose to jump dangerously. It's up to you. And there's so many levels of that. So what most people don't understand is that base jumping is probably the most safest extreme sport out there, but it's very easy to make it dangerous. It's very easy to add risks onto a risk matrix chart, let's say. Okay. So if you just were to jump off a bridge, so there's nothing you can hit, you jump, make sure the bridge is way high enough. You do a conservative jump, you check your gear, you make sure you're fit and healthy, and you jump in perfect weather conditions, and you don't vary the plan thinking you're better than what you were, and you don't get complacent. I can tell you for a fact that you will be able to jump off that bridge for the rest of your life every single day. So, but if you start jumping, let's say, wasted, or you don't check your parachute, or you push it lower than before, you do try something crazy off it, and if you jump in strong thermic conditions, and if you start not caring about the process, and all of a sudden you're doing a sport that will absolutely kill you. So it's a personal choice. And I'm a very scared person, contrary to what most people see on the social medias. I'm terrified of everything. Yeah, but that's my fuel to analyze everything and push past it. So like for me right now, the scariest thing I do in the last 2 years is standing 1 foot above the ground on a stage, playing original music to strangers. That for me is so much more terrifying than being on the edge of, say, the Burj Khalifa, which we just jumped from recently, which was also terrifying. But I'm in complete control of that situation, and able to execute that. And with the music and stuff like that, it's just terrifying. And I'm good until I make a mistake, but I'll make a mistake about 30 seconds in, and then my whole goes to shit. So I can go into a flow state when skydiving and base jumping. I'm yet to get into that flow state with playing music. So for me, that's my main driver right now, is because I know I can do it. I have to get past all these elements to do live music and make it, for me, a very enjoyable thing. And it's a whole process to do.
Where are you playing?
I just play around Wollongong, Maruya, and then Switzerland when I'm there. And yeah.
So how long have you been doing this for?
just the last sort of probably 2.5 years or something now, but it's been a passion of mine since I was 15. I started writing songs,
Right.
but
Well,
skydiving and base
that's
jumping.
interesting. Like you're so scared of being on the stage, right, playing your guitar that you're going to go and base jump instead.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
What
yeah, well,
the?
base jumping and skydiving took over my life for the most part. I did a lot of
Yeah.
other sports too, but being able to come back into it now, it's my last fear to conquer. So I always just like conquering myself to get past any fear I have. And again, when I was younger, my mum was super, super strict and stuff. So never loved confrontation. I was very sort of taken back because mum was awesome, but she was just brutal.
Yeah.
And now, once I hit 30, I'm like, no, confrontation is something that has to happen. You confront people that are doing something bad to you or your friends, or confrontation of your fears or anything like that. So I'm just ticking off all the things I need to confront before my time is over. And this is for me, it's the last frontier. All the extreme sports and all that stuff, I've done it all and to the highest level. And this for me, I get such a joy from starting from scratch and working my way up. And I'm doing the same with indoor skydiving now as well. So I've been starting that from scratch and working my way up. So those two pastimes my full focus at the moment, and also remembering that base jumping and skydiving was just a pastime as well. It was just a hobby, and I look where that has taken me over my life, and it's mind blowing. And so who knows where the music could take me to? That's limitless, but you just have to set no limits.
Yeah. So very intrigued. You said indoor skydiving.
Yes, it's called a wind tunnel. So it's where you can skydive inside a building.
Yeah.
They're all around the world now. And I took the base jumping path when a lot of my friends took the indoor skydiving path. So they're all the world's best now. And I'm starting from the beginnings. And because I'm used to just base jumping, I have a lot of bad habits that I had to break. And you're really trying to, speeds of up to 300 kilometers an hour. You're trying to get your brain to tell your foot what to do while you're upside down and moving. And you have very limited space to fly around in. So I call it window licking, licking all the windows and smashing into the glass. And but it's very challenging, and it keeps cognitive function as I get older. And it just will help, hand to eye to foot coordination. And so I've never had the money to do any of that stuff. That's why I stayed in the mountains. But now as I get older and I don't have kids or anything like that, I'm putting some energy into that. And it costs a lot of money, but so far I've been able to claim stuff on tax. So I'm able to sort of focus on that for the next couple of years and see where that takes me. And I will never be bored. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So I want to also talk about your music. So are you playing on your own, or are you in a band, or what's the deal?
I would love to be in a band, but it's very hard to find a band. So at the moment I just sing a songwriter and just get up and do heaps of open mics and the odd gig here and there. And I record music in Switzerland. So I've got, I think I'm going to have 14 songs on Spotify pretty soon, and
very cool.
Another 50 to record, and then I'll just keep writing and just keep progressing. And
what sort of music is it?
Well,
Please don't say country.
I'm a full punk rocker.
Oh yeah, my favorite.
My mohawk's a bit business these days, but I mostly write folk songs, and I really enjoy. I call folk the old person's punk.
Okay, yeah.
So if you're going to genreize it, probably sort of folk. It's just music from my own personal experiences with the skill set that I have at the time I write the song. So because from I'm not the best lyricist, I'm not the best musician, but at least I state that I do that now. I never would even say I was a musician or a songwriter, but I just write to the best of my ability, and I play music to the best of my ability, and I try and get what's in here. What's in here is epic. It's just to try and get it out on into music with my skill level that's the hardest. But through heaps of practicing, I've got a really good guy in Switzerland, Mark Steiner from Mix Art Studios. Shout out to him. That really helps me get my vocal range way beyond my capabilities, and my guitaring as well. So really, he brings a lot to the songs. And I have a viola player that plays, and piano and all sorts of stuff. So it's completely opposite to my personality, basically. Is my music, but that's my outlet for sadness, for reflection, for past lost friends. It's like I tried to write happy songs, but I'm like, when I'm happy, I'm busy doing stuff.
Yeah.
So and it's a shame I don't drink anymore, because I always wrote best for a few whiskeys, but and
you'll get back there. You'll get back there.
Yeah. But I do now.
Not to the alcohol, I mean.
No. Well, now I was like, how do I write happy songs? I'm like, I can write about friends that are still alive. so I've got a couple of songs like that, but mostly just reflective music of my life, because it has been, I mean, to me it's normal, but it's been, when you look at it on paper or whatever, it's pretty not normal, I guess, and a bit crazy.
Yeah, definitely. So if people want to come and see you, do you post these gigs anywhere, or how do they find those?
I'm a bit shy with all that stuff at this stage.
Seriously, you got to put yourself out there, don't you?
I know. I had a heap of friends come down at the skydiving center, and I was playing at a pub that night, but I didn't tell anyone. But everyone just happened to rock up for dinner, and I'm like, "Fuck, you guys, you shouldn't be here." So I will. How'd you go? Were you all right? Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's all good. So after this season, bass jamming, I'm going full time just to record all these songs and just constantly play. I'll go busking and I'll start from scratch and just see where it takes me. And my real goal is to do one European tour, one Australian tour, and to play some folk festivals around Australia. And if I can tick that off, and anything after that's an absolute bonus, and just enjoy being alive. Well, at this point, just enjoy every day being alive now,
Yeah, definitely. After a scare like that, for sure.
Yeah, my dad said it best. He wrote on my 40th birthday card, he's live, love, and laugh like till your belly aches, and take each day as it comes. And for me, I've never forgotten that saying, and I just make sure I try and do that every day.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, yeah, it's been like that this whole interview. I've loved having a chat and doing your audiobook. It was amazing working with you.
No, it's interesting. It was very difficult. Yeah, it's crazy.
So, yeah, no, you kept saying that, but I don't think it really was. I mean, your voice obviously got tired at times, but
yeah. Well, just speaking clearly, I speak too fast. I get too excited. I mumble, and so like trying to, and then you're aware of it. You're like, oh shit, I still mumbled that, and go back, do it again. Just the amount of times I would have to do stuff, and then also after like a little while, the writing would just move and jump
out. It does.
And you're just like trying to anticipate the next sentence and stuff. And then sometimes I'd stop, I'd giggle because I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck was that I wrote? Like, or remember an experience that was proper retarded. You're just like, what the hell? So, but I wrote that book like I'd had 3 beers at the pub and was telling a story. And it's really, people sort of say, "Oh, wow, you're an author." I'm not an author.
I reckon you also read it, like the way you narrated it. It was like that as well. I really liked your authenticity of reading it.
I made sure I did that because that's how it was written. It's really the only style I know, because I'm not an author. I just wrote a book, So if I write another one, it's going to be a lot in it, because there's some fucking epic times, that a lot of those times have ended. We had a heyday of base jumping there for many years. It was just absolutely epic. The same massive group of people were traveling the world to all these different events and stuff. And my marriage was just full rock star. It was unsustainable, it turns out, but still best friends with my ex-wife. But it was just crazy. But a lot of those guys are dead now. And so one by one, everything dropped off, to the point where I lost one of these mates just a month ago. And, I've already lost three friends this year, and I'm sure it's going to get worse. But yeah, so that era, it's like understanding that era is gone. And to some people this is the other thing. I was like, I could be an alcoholic and dwell in the past and tell all old stories and sit at a bar being the guy that fucking, telling all these old stories, or you just keep raging and making new ones. It's just that I have to make some changes to make that happen. And so it's just what I plan to do.
Well, it's good that you've come to terms with it, that you've got to do that, to sort of live on and keep your legacy alive for now.
Yeah, I see. That's the other thing. I don't give a fuck about a legacy. I really don't care. I've just had the best time ever. That's one of the beauty.
That is a legacy, though. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a true legacy, not somebody that tries to do something, that somebody that just lives their most authentic life and does what they need to or has to, or that makes them feel
just
good.
Want to.
That's it. That's the legacy.
Yeah, there's no need or have to. I just do what I want. I always have.
You're very lucky. You're very lucky, Well, if people could get a pinch of what you've got there that gives you that to do that, they would be having a much better life.
Everyone has it in them. That's the thing. So the best thing I ever did was quit my job. And the second best thing I ever did was get a job again. Yeah. So, but like my friend said it best, Gatsby, he said a quote one day that I still use. And every time you step out of your comfort zone, you will be rewarded. And that's the other thing, that and be the best you can be, from my dad and my principal. Those two quotes is just like everything, and everyone has that chance, but it takes a hell of a lot of work and a hell of a lot of sacrifice to get there. And I've literally spent 30 years sleeping on floors, eating leftover food, rice, pasta, tuna, whatever I can take to eat. We'd literally be at a restaurant waiting for other people to finish their food so we could eat, so we could live the dream of skydiving. It didn't just, you can have one or the other. And so it didn't all just happen without, it's not about luck. It's about what do you truly want. If you truly want to achieve something, you will do it. You just have to fucking put in the yards. And that's what the social media, you will never see. You only see the glory. You don't see the absolute tedious, boring, horrible, hard work. Even when I broke my leg, which is 3 years ago, whatever, I still had my broken leg, and I was broke, and I was digging holes for $25 cash an hour in a basement just to try and make ends meet at that point in time. Right. And now everything's okay again, but it was fucking horrible, and it's super painful to be having to do that, and could hardly fucking walk, but that needed to be done. And tomorrow, if it all goes to shit, I will fucking clean toilets. I don't care. And then 2 months ago, I'm jumping off the Burj Khalifa, the world's biggest building, hanging out with all the sheiks and all the rad. So if you're willing,
write those notes down. We want to hear about that.
There's so much great. 2 days before that, I'm breaking into a building in Malaysia to jump off with the young punks. So
awesome. It sounds like it's been just as much fun as your first book, man.
Way more fun, way crazier.
I thought that book was crazy, man.
Way crazy. And next time I won't. There's so many boring parts in that book. I'll just skip all those bits, because they're I don't need to talk about half the stuff I talked about. I look back on, fuck, you could have told heaps different and better stories than that. But anyway, I know,
but you live and learn, right? And you were a different person. You wrote down, and I think that it was a really good book, very interesting. All those boring bits that you're probably talking about, I kind of enjoyed those bits.
Okay, yeah, cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've grown so much in 10 years. I think if you look back at anything you do, you probably think, I'd do that differently. That's hindsight, right?
Oh, for sure. I definitely would not get on the roof of my car at 120 k's an hour with no one else in the car.
What the hell?
Salute my mates. I know I wouldn't do that now. I would make sure there's a friend in the car.
How lucky are you that you're here, man? What the hell? That's full throttle right there.
I'll keep picking up rubbish, that's for sure.
Oh my God, it's a ride. Dude. Well, it's been such a pleasure working with you, and I'm really grateful that you did that book with me. It was awesome. I'm hoping you do the second one with me as well.
Yeah, I hope so too. If that's the plan, if I ever get it done or ever get it finished, which I generally, if I say I'm going to do something, I'll put a timeline on it and I go. My mate who wrote a book said it easy. He goes, if you do 1 page a day in 365 days, you've got 365 pages, which essentially is a book. So I have a feeling mine will be 1,000, and then we just got to cut out.
You need a good editor. Take out all those boring bits.
Definitely.
Or go speak to your higher self in one of those trips.
Yeah. We'll see how we go. I'm trying to be a good boy,
Sorry.
I've got a rubber arm, and I've still got a hell of a lot of fancy dress clothes. That's for sure.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, awesome. So how can people connect with you? I mean, you've got an Instagram account, and I'm following you on that, but how do people connect?
Yeah, I mean, it's a love-hate relationship with all that. So for professional stuff, when I finish the school this year, I want to get more into the keynote speaking. I just did a talk to the heads of the New South Wales Police on resilience. So
I wanted to actually ask you about that. You and the police, you're doing a talk for the police.
Yeah, it turns out I outran them, and but that was an honor, especially how much I hated authority growing up with the sports, So to be able to talk to the police on depression and resilience and extreme sports, and how I got through and witnessing so many deaths and stuff, and going through, at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and these guys, it gave me faith in the authorities in Australia again, because these guys are just human beings as well. They're struggling with addiction, struggling with alcohol, struggling with depression. They have to see bad shit every day. I was in Mount Druitt as well, the world's worst suburb, and
oh wow,
and so all this stuff was that was a human connection over the us and them. And in Switzerland, I work with the authorities all the time. We have a great relationship with the police, with the rescue people and stuff. So Yeah, so just stuff like that I want to get more into. So long story short, for the public keynote speaking and stuff like that, more professional jobs, LinkedIn, which will be, I think it's Chris Dukes McDougall. I think I've put all that stuff in.
I'll put it on the notes.
I have a love and hate relationship with social media, but I generally will only use Instagram now because I enjoy watching skateboarding videos and music videos and surfing videos. And so that's Dukes base. And then I have a heap of videos on YouTube. If you want the crazier stuff, go back to the beginning. Towards the end, it gets more school-based and more mature-based, which sucks. And then and then Facebook, Chris Dukes McDougall. And I have a Twitter page. I never use it, basically.
Yeah, okay. But you've got your website, dukes.com.
So I thought I had a website, and then it got shut down because a credit card payment didn't go through or something, and I didn't get, because I live in Switzerland, nothing ever got to me. So we're going to be building at dukes.com. Yeah, so stay tuned for that, because what I would like to do is do online coaching with people for sure, for base jumping and stuff. I can do video coaching of their jumps, but just for anyone that wants to. I get phone calls and messages every day from people that I know or don't know, asking about sobriety. Hey, how, if you can do it, anyone can do it. How do we go about this? And I'm helping people constantly. So I love doing that for free, of course, and I'll always do that. But if I can say, hey, pay me $30 for a 10-minute phone call and we'll help your life out or something like that, it'll allow me to pay the bills and to also help people. So it's a good balance. So I'll be setting up dukes.com at some point before the end of this year for counseling, coaching, and very informal, my style, very raw.
Chatting from the van.
Yeah, chatting from the van once I deck it out. If someone dies, my first reaction will be like, well, get on the piss for a night and get totally fucked up. And then move on with things, something like that. It's not going to be formal bullshit coaching. It's going to be real coaching for real people that are having real problems, but we'll see how we go. Yeah. I'll sort my shit out first.
Sounds like lots of fun, man. Awesome.
But, it's been a pleasure recording with you guys as well. Like, Esther was great. And Ezra, sorry. Esper. Wow, there you go. That's how bad my memory is. Esper is great. He was awesome to work with. So I'd love to work with him again as well. And he was in tears at some points as well and was laughing at some points. So that was pretty cool. And he was a pleasure to work with. And you've been a pleasure to work with. And it's been great.
Fantastic. Excellent. I'm so glad. Yeah, it was really great working with you and, bringing it to life. Although a few years ago to me, seemed fairly current when we did it. It was like, oh my God, now. So obviously looking forward to book 2 now, because it was such an adventure, but such a pleasure talking to you, face to face on the podcast. I really appreciate your time today, Dukes. And I'm so glad that you're here and alive after your heart attack. Look after yourself, right?
I will. Yeah, I think I'm only a good die young, they say, so it should be sweet.
And keep us posted when your songs are being released, and also put your gigs out. I think people would love to come and see you play. That'd be awesome for everyone. And you. I'm
getting there. Yeah, it's a unique take on the music, because no one writes about the things I write about, because no one's experienced those things either. So
awesome.
It's interesting. So okay, cool. I'll try and get more confidence with it. I'm a very confident person in most things, but music is like my kryptonite. So I've got to be more outgoing with that stuff. So
watch this space. It's gonna be lit.
yeah, we'll see.
All right, awesome. Thanks again.
No, pleasure. Take it easy.
You too.
Thank you. Thanks for joining the Simone Feiler podcast. What's your story? Contact Simone for a chat at brisbaneaudiobookproduction.com.